Ruben Amorim will take his first training session as the new Manchester United head coach on Monday, and a lot is about to change, from formation to recruitment to who could be sold to who could be signed to the academy players coming through to how he trains. We're going to be talking about it all in 5 big changes that are going to happen now. Ruben Amorim is the new United head coach, starting with the obvious one, the formation change. Ruben Amorim plays a 3-4-3, or sometimes known as a 3-4-2-1 shape formation that is key to him, because his 3-4-3, the wingers are very, very narrow. They're almost sort of number 10s rather than the touchline wingers that Ten Hag deploys. It is expected that Ruben Amorim will deploy this formation at Manchester United, despite us playing a back four under the last few managers. We have played a back three once or twice under Ollie. It was said that Ruben Amorim's plan to start immediately with a back three in the defence and bring players in ready to provide the intensity starts from 2025. So Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Ruben Amorim wants to play with a back three and want to bring in players that bring intensity. The second point, we're going to talk a little bit in detail about the signings Amorim may be bringing in. Amorim, when he was asked after the Braga game, in which Sporting won 4-2, about what he was going to do at United, he said, I know how I'm going to play in the beginning, because you have to start with a structure that you know. So that is Ruben Amorim almost saying, I'm going to play a 3-4-3 to begin with, because that's a structure that he knows. He's saying he knows how he's going to play in the beginning because he's got to go with a structure that he knows. He says then you will adapt with the players that you have, the injuries or no injuries. What kind of players have the ability to defend, attack, I will discover in the next few weeks. We don't have a lot of time to train, so I have to show something that I know very well, and you can take what you want from that. So that is Ruben Amorim essentially saying, yeah, I'm probably going to play my 3-4-3 system, what I do at Sporting, because I know that works, I know the system well, but if it doesn't work, the United players or there's injuries, I will then, once I get to know the United players and the profiles, adapt to that. He said a lot of people talk about 3-4-3 and 4-3-3 and all of those things, but when I think about the team, it's not a system or formation, it's the character of the players, the way you see the club. We have to focus on that before worrying about how we play and how we press. The most important thing for me is to create the principles, the identity and the character that we had in the past. So he's saying, the formation isn't the most important thing, he'll go what he knows, but it's about the intensity. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what formation he uses, his players need to be able to play at a certain intensity. They need to have certain characters to play the football he wants to play, because it is hard. And you saw that from his Sporting players. They came back from 2-0 down to Braga. They beat Manchester City 4-1. They give a lot for him. He's saying that is important beyond formation. He said, the team is the most important thing for me. If you work as a team, the individual talent will shine. You have to have an identity. Everyone thinks the same way. Run and play, have fun. That's what motivates me. Everyone wants to win. I want to win. But with an identity, that's the thing, I focus all the time. So he wants an identity. He has a style of play. He wants an identity. He wants to eventually play that style of play, but he's also going to have to assess the United players and see if they have the character, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how he tries to play. If they don't have the character, he can't play that way, which is why recruitment is going to be massive under Ruben Amorim. And there will be a few new signings, potentially 2 in January, and quite a few bits more business in the summer. Once Ruben Amorim's had a couple of months to properly assess the players, I do expect a lot of business in the summer. It was said by Fabrizio Romano that Man United have not discussed the name of players who sign with Ruben Amorim yet. He wants to assess the full team in training and matches before he makes an opinion, but his opinion will be important in recruitment, but does not mean that he will decide. He probably wants to assess and see what players are able to play his football and who aren't, who can match the intensity and character needed to play his football, and those players that can't, he will then want replacements for. Sports scientist Paulo Barreira will focus on helping Amorim figure out players who are physically fit to meet his demands and style of play and play the football he wants to play. It's not just about how good you are. You need to be able to run a lot. You need to be athletically good. You need to be able to give him the intensity to play the football that he wants to play. And that is unfortunately something that United players have been lacking for a while. And that's why I think it will take time with Amorim, because it's not just about the players. It's about getting the players to play at an intensity we've never seen them play at. The intensity is a crucial word for what Ruben Amorim wants to build at Manchester United. For example, I don't think Eriksen will continue at the club under Amorim beyond this season, it said Romano. Well, his contract's expiring. He's not expected to get a new one. But it is about the intensity. Players like Eriksen are good, but they cannot play at the intensity may be needed. In terms of who United have been looking at, they've been linked to Gyökeres, which is a very obvious one. They've also been linked to Diomande, the centre-back, And another player from Sporting they've been linked to is Giovanni Coenda, who's been playing as Sporting's right wing back. I wouldn't be totally surprised if he did go for Coenda. Now, Ruben Amorim's made it clear he will not go for any Sporting players in January. That will have to wait to the summer. I think Coenda, Diamonde, and Jokeres could be ones to watch. We've been linked to Naipan, Chris Rigg, Dibbling, but I think we were looking at them regardless of who the manager is. I think we will be looking at a left wing back. I think we will be looking at someone like Coenda for right wing back, because he could also play left wing back. We will be probably looking at centre backs, and we'll probably be looking at least one more midfielder that can play in the pivot with Agate and Maino. Number 3 is there could be some role changes. We're speaking about formation, the 3-4-3. Now, Mazraoui is a very, very good player, but he's never been a wing back. So there is talk of United bringing in the right wing back, and Mazraoui potentially or Delo could turn into a right centre back. There is talks of Garnacho being deployed as a left wing back or a right wing back. If you got Luke Shaw left wing back, Martinez left centre back, Delic central centre back, Delo right centre back, Garnacho potentially right wing back, then you can sort of change into a 4-3-3 at times, then go back into the 5 at the back system, because there would be someone that could cover right back and Garnacho could go forward. There is talk of Garnacho and Anthony being left wing back and right wing back. I don't think Anthony's good enough to come through. I think Garnacho could play in the front 3, but I think there's a lot of competition there. I think Rashford and Højlund will compete for the striker spots. I think Xerxes, Mount, Ahmad and Bruno will compete for the 10 spot. They're very narrow wingers, whereas Garnacho is someone that thrives out wide. Garnacho could take on a wing-back role if his defensive responsibilities improve. Mazraoui could take up a right centre-back role. You could even see him in midfield in the pivot. You could see him as a right wing-back. I think Luke Shaw could play left centre-back, left wing-back. Same with Malacia, but I do think that United don't have a natural wing-back at the club. Number 4, and one of the big changes that will be, is Ruben Amorim's connection with players. I think my biggest criticism of Ten Hag was I felt that he didn't connect with the players. They weren't very close. There was a lot of players that I don't think were really playing or giving 100% for Ten Hag. And I think in the case of Ruben Amorim, it's so different. When you look at Amorim and you look at what the players give for him and how much the players like him, it felt like the players love Amorim. Whereas with Ten Hag, particularly the big players, Ronaldo, Varane, Casemiro, we know he had De Gea, we know there was some complicated relationships there. And I think Amorim's someone that seems to be close with his players and connect with them a lot better than maybe Ten Hag did. Even Bruno Fernandes said this. He said, on Amorim, for me, what stands out is the connection he has with players. You have to see the way they say goodbye to him when he leaves in the middle of the season. It shows he has a good personality and that he's someone who gives for all his players. And the personality shown in Ruben Amorim's goodbye was massive. Sporting loved him, they adored him. Ten Hag, a few players did like him, but a lot probably were quite relieved that he went. Bruno Fernandes said, I've seen in many moments where players were struggling and Amorim kept faith in them. He will always defend his players. He had a very young team that needed that, and I hope that when he gets here, he can do the same with the youngsters. We, the more experienced players, have to help out. And talking of youngsters, the 5th and final big change that Ruben Amorim will make at United is his love for involving the youngsters and putting faith for them. Coenda's only 17, playing regularly at Sporting against the likes of City. It was said, and I spoke about this in a previous video, that Ruben Amorim is expected to take more of an interest in United Academy than Ten Hag, although I do think that Ten Hag took a good interest in the academy. But Bentito Mantato could eventually be promoted to the first team by Ruben Amorim. His chances have been increased by Amorim's arrival. Mantato was viewed as a versatile talent who could play wing-back on both sides. He is our version of Coenda. I think he's probably, out of all the players in the academy, he's going to benefit more than anyone, I think, from Amorim coming in, because if he's going to come through, he suits Amorim's system. Him and Harry Amas as wing-back suit what Amorim wants long-term. And when United, there is question marks around the wing-back, because while Mazraoui's good, is he a wing-back? Luke Shaw can't stay fit. He may have to dip into the academy for wing-backs. And one thing that Amorim's done is he's always produced really good young wing-backs that he's obviously gone on and sold. And Mantato could be that one. He's someone that we've got to keep an eye on. He's someone that could get opportunities. The other one is Harry Amas. There's growing confidence behind the scenes that Harry Amas will have a better chance of breaking through under the incoming coach and likely be given more scope to evolve. I think Harry Amas would suit the left wing-back role more than the left-back role, because I think his best work is physical. So his best work, is going forward. It's on the ball. I don't think he's the best defensively or physically. And I think that's why Ten Hag was reluctant to give him more minutes this season. So I think him being in a wing-back role and having a bit more license to get forward with the intensity, the energy he brings and his technical ability could work well under Amorim. With Mantato and Harry Amas, we've got to remember, of course, how young they are and that they're not probably going to be ready now, but they're two players like Coenda that potentially could work out. And then lastly, it was said that Ruben Amorim and the staff consider Leny Yoro one of the most interesting players to develop Manchester United's long-term project. He will be considered a generational talent by the club, and Amorim and his staff fully agree on that. Leny Yoro is another young player that Ruben Amorim, of course, is going to rate. There's a reason Real Madrid wanted him, Liverpool wanted him. He's one of the top young talents out there, and he's someone that they have big plans for. So Ruben Amorim, the 5 big changes he'll make is big plans for the youth, recruiting players with intensity that could be the likes of Branthwaite, Semenyo, Belieber, just a few names that come to mind. Formation changes, his connection with the players, and I think the wing backs, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Thank you for watching. Bye.